No, Cassie, no. You can't do it.
You can't
do it.
You have
You have to waste your money on the Smite skins coming out.
Do you justify those purchases at least?
Oh god, no. I don't justify any purchase that I make. Hello, and welcome to episode 32 of Annie Chatbox. I will be your host today, Cassie. It's been a while for me. I'm used to just sitting in the background and silently judging everyone, so better step up to the plate pretty good today. That being said, you can find us via social links very quickly at twitter.com/theanniechatbox or via anniechatmail@gmail.com if you want to shoot us an email. We haven't received any yet, and we're totally looking forward to them. We are also available via iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and SoundCloud. And we do have a Patreon if you want to throw a buck or two or an opinion our way at patreon.com/AnnieChatbox. I've actually updated the tiers on there, so if you want to take a look and see what things you can get from us or even suggest some things that you would like from us as support tiers, feel free to drop us a line. So, that being said, I am joined by one solo co-host today. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, you all know me as Crickus von Maximus III, twice removed. What's going on, internet? Where's everyone else? Where's the party at?
Nobody else wanted to watch the show we're reviewing today, I suppose. Also,
Damn.
They are luckily not caught up in any of the crazy natural disasters that have been happening recently, but we wanted to send our condolences out to those who were involved in the Houston hurricane that hit there. Hurricane, which one was that? Henry? Something.
I believe so, yes.
My brain is dead. I'm just so caught up right now in Hurricane Irma, which is about to hit where a good deal of my family lives and also a good deal of my friends. So I'm a little shaky right now. We're recording this right as that hurricane's about to hit. But yeah, definitely our thoughts and...
That's the Florida one, right? Irma?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about to hit, like, pretty hard. Yeah, it's no bueno. No bueno. But yeah, Hurricane Harvey. I don't know why I said Henry.
Henry.
My brain's dead. Did I even say Henry?
Yeah, you did say. You said Henry, I believe.
Hurricane Harvey is the one that hit Houston and is affecting a good deal of my friends as well. So I'm going to, when we upload this episode, I'm going to leave some links to what the current ways you can donate to charity are, and also for those victims that were hit by an 8.0 earthquake in Mexico. We'll see if I can find any links for them as well. It never hurts to donate if you can. Throw a few bucks to those in need, whether they be here, there, or everywhere. So, the world's burning to the ground and we have no topic. So that's the thing.
The West Coast is burning down to the ground. I mean, with those forest fires.
Yeah, fun fact, me and Gregory over here are roommates, and for a good all of last week we could not leave our house because there was pollution in the air that was hazardous because some kids decided to light some fireworks in the woods, and it spread and became a gigantic fire that I think they're still trying to contain, but they're doing okay. But it's definitely much worse in Montana, which is in a state of emergency right now, or actually in a state of disaster. I think it was upgraded to.
Yeah.
Very recently, and it's kind of just burning to the ground. And also California has some not so fun fires going on as well. So the West Coast is burning down and the East Coast is drowning, and everyone else is just dealing with their life problems, I suppose.
It's okay, though, because our AQI, which I learned recently is an acronym for Air Quality Intake, is currently at 34.
I thought it was Air Quality Index.
Oh, okay, you're probably right. I just took it as intake. It's at 34, according to this, so we're in the green. We're
in the green.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing anything yellow around us.
Yeah, we're finally in the green. Just took a while.
Yeah.
But needless to say, it's been not so fun for a lot of people, and our hearts and thoughts go out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, we've shown up without much of a topic, so we figured we would just kind of like shoot the shit for 20 minutes, talk about life or whatever we feel like, and see where it goes. And then we will move on to a fun review of a show that Craig swam from last season.
I did.
And we'll have a nice little fun discussion about that as well. But starting from there, I don't know where to go. So I'm going to turn this over to Craig, who's not the host, and make him do work. What do you want to talk about?
So you say, I'm going to be the host, and then you make Craig introduce the show and the main topic.
Okay, you want me to introduce the show that you passed?
No,
I will definitely do. I have no problem with leading the review section if you're going to give me shit about it.
No. I will do all this work. Cass, I want to know what is behind the curtain. I want to know what that makes you the producer extraordinaire. What makes you tick? What are your hobbies?
I'm not going to tell you what makes me tick, but other than anime, I do play a lot of Smite. I'm not good at Smite, but I do play a lot of Smite. And I've recently picked up Hearthstone again, which is a terrible, terrible idea, and I hate Zach so much right now. I've managed to not spend more than like $5 on that game to buy a welcome pack.
Okay.
But I feel like there's like so much temptation for me to just buy like 1,000,000 card packs and play like all of these solo adventures that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, Cassie, no. You can't do it. You can't do it.
You have
to waste your money on the Smite skins coming out.
Do you justify those purchases at least?
Oh god, no. I don't justify any purchase that I make. Actually, though, I'm actually typically freakishly frugal. I barely ever spend money. When I do, sometimes I dump a little too much, but occasionally I do.
Treat yourself.
I do AMV editing, which if anybody wanted to check out my YouTube channel, they're always in the description. Me and Cammie both are AMV editors, in addition to John as well. Craig edited an AMV one.
Yeah, once. He
also used to edit parodies.
Yeah, I did once. A long time ago. Now I don't. Now, what do? All I do is play video games and watch television and post on Twitter and Tumblr.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a thing.
We should just give all of our viewers access to your Tumblr page.
Sure.
Maybe we can make that a Patreon unlockable. Look at Craig's shame.
Sure, if you want to
$5.
Sure, if you want to see all the Moe blobs, but I mean, at that rate, you might as well get access to like the to the Anti-Chatbox Discord, so you can see all of the other things like music and the picture spam that we have going on.
And our not safe for work channel.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's not $5. That'd be $10.
I can't remember where the Discord unlock was. I think it was a relatively low tier. Just to hang out with us.
Well, okay.
So yeah, if you guys do want to talk with us, we do have a Discord, and it is an unlockable in the Patreon. If you'd like, we are more than welcome to speak with everyone, but we are too antisocial and awkward to just talk to random strangers on the internet, so you gotta pay us first. We're sluts that way.
Wow.
You have to buy our ability to speak to you off the air. I'm kidding, actually. If you ever want to speak out and talk to us, you can on Twitter just as easily, and that's completely free.
Yeah.
And we always would love to talk to people and get to know how we can make this show better. That's the only way we're going to get better.
Or
have some feedback.
Or follow the individual host outside of the main channel, Twitter channel. That way you can see us individually as Cass retweets fancy art. And I've recently been watching movies and horror movies at that. And I've been watching Stephen King's It. And that's fun.
Did you enjoy that movie?
I watched both the 2017 and the 1990s movies, miniseries, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was actually very good. 2017 one, very spooky. Okay. And then the 1990s one was kind of creepy, I guess, but it's very dated. It gave me like weird goosebump vibes, if you can believe that.
That actually brings us to something interesting. I know that Japan is actually really well known for its horror films.
Hmm.
Korea as well. I have heard that Korean horror films are actually the most terrifying things ever. So I'm going to go look up the 16 best Japanese horror films of all time and see what I can find. Speaking of which, I can't do horror films. I can't do them.
Well, you see, it's like a weird disconnect, because when I figure, when I see it, I don't believe it, but when I go to sleep, my mind starts to, like, think everything is real. And I didn't have that this time with It 2017. It was just like, it's a creepy clown. That already enough is already kind of like, man, that thing's already a fucking monster, and the kids are gonna fight that monster, and it was pretty cool to see them fight the monster. I'm very curious to see how they'll adapt Chapter 2 of the It franchise.
Let's see here. Best Japanese horror movies of all time.
I want to say Guyver's in there.
Guyver?
Yeah, Guyver.
Apparently number 8 is Pulse.
Never heard of it.
I haven't either. I'm searching. I don't know if these are actually. I'm gonna go and actually back up. I don't like this webpage. I'm gonna find a different article. 10 Japanese horror movies that'll keep you up all night. There we go.
Okay. The Grudge.
Let's
The
see
Ring.
here. The first one mentioned is Audition.
Okay, never heard of it.
Came out in 1999. Let's see here. Audition is about a lonely man who agrees to trick women into auditioning for the role of his new lover.
Okay. That sounds rapey already.
As you might imagine, the man's plan goes fairly well at first, but the love affair doesn't last that long. Audition is a textbook example of how to deliver a slow burn horror story without being dull, it says. The next one it lists is Kwaidan, which is from 1964. Let's see here. It's a creepy 4-story omnibus based on a 1902 collection of eerie Japanese folk tales. Apparently. The next one is The Ring.
Yep.
Hideo Nakata's Ringu, aka Ring, kickstarted Americans' J-horror obsession. In Ringu, there's a mysterious videotape that, if viewed, will kill the viewer 1 week later. I've actually never watched The Ring.
I don't think you would be able to stand it.
Probably not. The next one is Oni Baba.
Okay.
Let's see. It says, call it a romantic drama or a wartime horror story. It's hard to pin down to one specific genre. The movie is about 2 women who stay afloat by murdering local soldiers who come wandering into their village selling their armor and weapons for food. When a young man enters the picture and a horrifying mask-wearing stranger is spotted roaming around the town, the routine complicates and the plot thickens. Perhaps a bit slow in comparison to today's thrillers, but Oni Baba is also quietly fascinating, starkly beautiful, and occasionally pretty damn scary, apparently. The next one it lists is Dark Water. That was apparently released in 2002.
Okay.
It says, one of the more underrated J-horror crossovers, Hideo Nakata's simple haunted apartment story is about a single mother, a little girl, and a mysterious upstairs apartment that sure seems to be inhabited, but clearly is not. Dark Water lacks the body count and overt freakishness of well-known Japanese horror films, but it earns a lot of points for mood, pacing, atmosphere, and character. Next one mentioned here is The Grudge.
Yep.
Which I actually know what that one is. Cool. That one was released in 2002. A unabashed haunted house horror story through and through. Writer-director Takashi Shimizu doesn't set out to reinvent the wheel, but with this tale of numerous tenants and 2 tenacious ghosts, but he does manage to wring several great scares out of a potentially overfamiliar premise. Like The Ring, this one would go down to spawn all sorts of remake sequels and shrieky spin-offs.
Yeah.
Again, Pulse. Here we go. Pulse, it was released in 2001, follows a group of friends who contend with a computer virus that causes people to either commit suicide or disappear off the face of the planet. See, a bit quieter, drier, and yes, weirder than some of the other J-horror films from this era, Pulse is a darkly compelling and provocative cautionary tale about our ceaseless over-reliance on technology. See, and then they list Suicide Circle. It's about a horrific rash of mass suicides that seem to have no discernible pattern, or do they? A bizarre rock band may hold the secret, or not, it's hard to tell. It's a bizarre and fascinating film. But yeah, it looks like there's a lot of Japanese horror, and I've heard that, like, Korean horror is even creepier sometimes, but I don't watch horror films because I'm scared too easily.
Dun, 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 dun.
But hey, look, we still managed to, bring something from Japan in. So, hey, us.
You should go watch Young Frankenstein.
I've already seen Young Frankenstein.
Do you like it?
Not really.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I liked the part where he danced at the end.
Yeah?
On the stage. But, I don't know. I'm not really super into movies. That one was more of a comedy than anything.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I asked, because it's like a spoof on Frankenstein's monster.
It could also be that I was just, really not in a good place in my life when I watched that film.
Oh, yeah.
But I watched it with Zach and his friend James at their family house for, Thanksgiving or something, a million years ago. Or was it was either Thanksgiving or Halloween? I can't remember, but we watched Young Frankenstein, and I was like, well, this was a thing. I didn't hate it, but it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to watch again. I'd rather go watch a horror film. And I don't like watching horror films. That reminds me, I did watch Craig play a horror game when he first moved in here, a couple of years ago. What was that called? Until Dawn?
Yeah, Until Dawn. You really got into that despite really not liking horror at all.
The thing is, it's not that I don't like horror. It's that I can't handle, jump scares or the things that, actually scare people. And I don't like having to think about the supernatural because then I get creeped out. I don't like having to think about things that I can't explain.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I can read horror just fine. Because I'm not seeing it and there's not that trigger, I guess. But I hate jump scares. Jump scares are what make me hate horror films, and they're in almost every horror film known to man.
Cass, explain to me it, then. Would you be able to see it and justify and explain it?
I would not watch it for a couple of simple reasons. One, I fucking am terrified of clowns.
I did not actually know that.
And two, it has jump scares. You've told me it has jump scares.
Yeah.
So why would I watch something that you have knowingly told me has jump scares? I'm not game for that.
Defy the machine. Defy the machine. By the way, while you brought up the movie Pulse, it sounded familiar, and I was actually right. Apparently, Pulse was a 2006 American adaptation for the horror remake of the Japanese horror film Cairo Pulse.
According to the article I read, it said to ignore the 2006 remake, so that's why I didn't mention it. See, this would have been a better topic around Halloween. I don't know why we're doing this now. To bring that back around, I tend to, and here's the thing that's actually, I guess, something we could talk about that would be a good podcast topic, and I guess we could very briefly touch on it now and maybe have an entire topic around it later, because we've been talking for almost 20 minutes now and have to probably get to the review eventually, but I can handle horror anime just fine.
Because it's the disconnect, because it's a cartoon and you can see the blood and you're like, damn, that's intense.
Well, I don't know about that. I was getting to why. But the main reason why is that a lot of what is considered horror anime seems more to be, psychological. For example, Paranoia Agent is considered a horror anime.
Yeah, I can see that.
I believe Hellgirl, to an extent, is considered a horror anime. I started Ghost Hound, and that was kind of creepy. That was a horror anime. I believe Another was also considered a horror anime. That one I'm not entirely sure whether that one was actually considered a horror anime or not, but it seemed very horror-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really love Higurashi no Nakukuruni, which is also considered a horror anime. And a lot of it has less to do with paranormal activity. Now, not to say that there isn't paranormal activity, there is definitely a lot of that in Ghost Hound and Hellgirl and to an extent Paranoia Agent as well, but it's not the main focus. I think it has more to do with psychologically, like how the characters deal. And Higurashi no Nakukuruni is basically just Groundhog Day anime style, and really trying to nail down what is going on in this world. And it becomes more of a mystery drama than it does a horror show. And that's the kind of stuff that I like. Also, you very rarely ever have jump scares in horror anime. Almost never. They rely less on jump scares and more on just like shock value. Serial Experiments Lane, I believe, is a horror anime as well that I haven't watched but have been interested in for like years. So I should probably check that one out.
You should. I remember watching When They Cry Higurashi, and I was like...
Did you watch season 2?
No, I didn't even...
That's the problem.
I didn't even get past season 1 because I was just like... The Groundhog Day effect, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Okay. And then it got really, really dark, and I'm like, I'm out. Elfen Lied is
really
also
dark
horror.
By like episode 2.
Yeah, Elfen Lied is also horror, I would say.
Yeah, but Elfen Lied is garbage.
Yeah, it is garbage. But I don't know much. The only other quote-unquote horror you could call it that is some elements of Fate Zero.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Fate Zero a horror show.
Yeah. Psychological.
Just because it has monsters in it doesn't make it a horror show. I would say it's suspenseful, but
yes, a thriller.
It doesn't yeah, I wouldn't put it in the horror genre. Most of Satoshi Kon's films, I believe, fall into the horror or at least psychological realm as well. I actually need to go back and watch all of his films because I love him as a director. I just haven't watched a good deal of a lot of things that make Satoshi Kon.
Have you seen Paprika?
I have not. I've not seen Paprika. I've not seen Perfect Blue, I believe is the other one. I've not seen a lot of them. However, Paranoia Agent is one of my favorite animes, period, and it's pretty it's pretty creepy. Maybe we could I think we were gonna watch Paranoia Agent last last year. I can't talk right now. I think we were gonna watch Paranoia Agent last year for Halloween, and we never got around to. So maybe we could do that for the podcast. I'll ask everybody. We'll see. That might be fun. But that being said, I think that unless you want to keep shooting the shit, we can probably move on to the review. What do you say?
I have no complaints to switch to the review. All I know is our topic cannot segue perfectly into our review at all, which is unfortunate.
It doesn't need to. We've done that plenty of times before where the topic doesn't necessarily match up
when
with
you are able to get a segue just right, you're like, yes, I did it. I did the thing. Show is Saekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, Season 2. A.k.a. Saekano's How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend Flat. Japanese name is Saenai Heroine no Sodatekata Flat Note. I actually got that right. Wouldn't you know?
Sodatekata.
Thank you, Cass. Studio is A1 Pictures. What they've done is the Idolmaster and the short anime music video Shelter. Everyone should watch Shelter. It's really good.
It is really good.
Tomoya Aki, an otaku, has been obsessed with collecting anime and light novels for years, attracting himself to various series with captivating stories and characters. Now he wants to have a chance of providing the same experience for others by creating his own game, but unfortunately, Tomoya cannot do this task by himself. He successfully recruits childhood friend Eriri Spencer Sawamura for his illustrations, and literary elitist Utaha Kasumigaka, can't speak words, to write the script for his visual novel while he directs. Super group now in hand, Tomoya only needs an inspiration to base his project on, and luckily he meets the beautiful, docile Megumi Kato. when he models, or whom he models, the main heroine after. Using his knowledge he has, Tomoya creates a new doujin circle with hopes to touch the hearts of those who play their video game. What does he not realize, or what he doesn't realize, is that to invoke these feelings, the creators have had to experience the same feelings in their own lives. Whew, that was kind of a mouthful, but poignant. So I passed this because this was a spring 2017 show, and season 2. I liked season 1. I watched it with the homie Pete because it was a harem show, but it had like a self-awareness to it, a meta commentary on it, as well. It had camaraderie with the Doujin Circle, Blessing Software. So I really liked it for that respect. All the girls seemed to have, like, they were kind of tropey, but they were aware of it, and it was fun. So, Cass, you binged all of this almost within a consecutive week. Why do you like it? Why are you here?
I didn't say I liked it. What are you talking about?
You're right. Do you like it? You probably hated it.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
I agree, though. It's a very self-aware series, and I love shows like this that are very self-aware. You get them very occasionally where they'll smash the fourth wall and then just kind of continue moving on with their story. And I enjoy a lot of that. And I don't typically see it in a harem show, and I think that's something that really needs to be brought up here, is that this is a harem show with an actual story.
Yeah.
Which you don't get a lot. Sometimes you'll get a harem show, for example, like Love Hina, that has an underlying through line and actually a pretty gripping story once you get to the end, but most of it is just a crap ton of shenanigans and punches in the face and accidental boob grabs. And that's not what you get here with Saekano. And that was really a breath of fresh air for me, because over the years, I've actually grown to really dislike harem shows for that fact. I used to like them when I was a lot younger. For example, I was super into Love Hina. I had the entire manga series. I bought the entire thing. I loved it.
Would you go back and read it now?
Maybe. Who knows? It's in a box in South Carolina, which is across the freaking, country. So probably not anytime soon. But the point is that I enjoyed it, and then the more I watched of harem shows, as I got more and more into anime as I grew up, I realized this is the same freaking crap over and over and over again. And it started to not appeal to me as much, which is why when Craig passed this show, I think I may have even literally said to him, I know I thought it, but I was just like, this better be fucking amazing. Like, this better be real good if I'm gonna have to watch a harem show.
Yeah.
And I was pleasantly surprised by the story. Because it says that this is a show about a guy wanting to create a visual novel with his friends. And while there is some wacky hijinks, I think it's actually kept to a minimum, and this is actually what the show is about.
Yeah.
The first season, which I guess we won't go into too much, I think
broad strokes.
It's more of a, hey, these are all the characters and what they do. But season 2 is what really makes this show a hit, and that, or at least a hit with the story, in that you actually start to see them making the game, and also see them struggle through the various struggles they have.
Yes. Basically, drama and whatnot, and the stakes get higher. They go to Kamaket and they realize they have rivals to deal with. Rouge on Rouge is like their competitor, and they try to produce the best quality product that they can in order to make it. So, yeah.
And interpersonal relations become a really big deal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And what really it is to be a creator. What is it to be a person who writes light novels? What is their life like? What is it like to be a person who can make brilliant art but can sometimes hit a slump? What is it like to be somebody who's completely not part of the anime circle and then suddenly make a bunch of friends with people who are and try and understand them and where your character really falls in and falls in line? And that was pretty good.
And like the responsibility of being a director, someone in charge, and being friends with people while also maintaining the balance of a professional just like a business where you have to meet deadlines and the ramifications of that sort of stuff.
Exactly, because this is just a group of friends in high school wanting to make a game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not get that wrong. It seems like almost like it's going to be the setup of one of those things where it's like, oh, we have a basic premise of what we're going to do to have all these wacky characters in one room in high school, and then wacky hijinks are going to ensue. But no, that's not what this show does. There are some wacky hijinks. Yep. There's obviously some harem-y moments, but even that it's self-aware about, which is pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that a lot. They pointed out where things were going very cliche. They have fan service episodes at the beginning of each season.
Yep, episode zeros.
Episode zeros that are blatant fourth wall breakers. That's all they're there for, especially season 2's episode 0. And they're called like fan service episodes because that's where they throw it in. There is some fan service throughout the show, don't get me wrong, but
those camera angles
those episodes in particular are particularly over the top when it comes to boob jiggle and odd angles.
Mm-hmm. Cass?
Yeah, I think the story was pretty good. Yeah. I think that this is one of those things where I say, hey, the My Anime List synopsis wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was pretty poignant, right?
And what they say they're going to give you is what they give you, and that's great. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. The show actually has a story that they go along with, and you can actually read a synopsis, and that's what you get. Unlike a lot of other shows that you read the synopsis and you're like, that's not what happened.
Cass, who was your favorite girl?
My favorite girl is Edity, the illustrator.
Why is she your favorite character?
She was my favorite character because she is both a generic and not generic tsundere all at the same time. I love tsundere characters.
And she's aware that she's a tsundere.
But she is very self-aware. She is.
Yep.
And she's also got a lot of really... I feel like out of all the girls, she had the most backstory with the main character.
Yeah.
And I feel like we really got to know her and why her motivations were what they were and why she... And I won't say this is a spoiler because it's a harem show, why she has feelings for him.
Mm-hmm.
Why she has feelings for Aki or Tomoya.
Yep.
She has, I believe, the strongest backstory out of all of the girls. Not to say that the other girls don't.
Mm-hmm.
However, I, to this day, do not know what was the other girl's name? Utaha? Like, I didn't get fully what her deal was with Tomoya in the past. I understood that...
Why she calls him...
we could get to...
Mr. Ethical?
Mr. Ethical? Yeah. I missed it. I do realize why they have such a great, I guess, dynamic, especially because, without going into super big spoilers, the reason why they met in the first place was because she is a very popular light novel author, and he is a huge fanboy.
Yeah.
And through that, she really wants to have him appreciate her writing and why that becomes a problem later on. And that's really cool.
Yeah.
That also happens with Edity as well. Who was your favorite character?
It kind of like... I like Megumi. I honestly like Megumi because she's very stoic and she's kind of the character that, like, while not having the most backstory, she does essentially go through a lot, and she is kind of roped around with, like, the shenanigans, and likes to make commentary on all the situations that happened. So she's kind of blunt in that regard. I like Utaha, but Utaha can kind of come off as a little bitchy, as Cass has told me from season 1. But we understand why in season 2. Plus, I don't know. I mean, they're all great, but Tomoya, our lead, is so self-aware and so over the top to a point. Kudos to the Japanese VA, Kirito from Sword Art Online. He's able to capture the freakouts quite nicely.
That voice actor is just amazing. He also played Conti in ReZero.
Oh.
Like, that guy is freakish range.
Yes.
He is a ridiculous voice actor.
The desk guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 Conti des! I can't remember the whole name. Betelgeuse.
Betelgeuse. Yeah, that was it. Betelgeuse.
Des! But yeah, the guy who plays him also plays Kirito and also plays Aki Tomoya. So, in the show. I think Tomoya also was a great character and went through a lot of growth, which was cool.
Yes.
Throughout the show. And you know what's crazy? I think the characters are both the strongest part of the show and also the weakest part of the show because they really give a lot of love and attention to Megumi, who's the model for the game. They give a lot of attention to Ederi, the illustrator. They give a lot of attention to Utaha, the writer, and of course they have to give attention to Tomoya because he's, the one that's bringing all these characters together.
He's a
but there are so many other characters that are just there to be there and then they're shafted later. Like,
is it a spoiler if we say who they are? Because
I mean, maybe to an extent. There is a character who provides
the music,
something else to the game. Music, we'll say. Excuse me, and I guess that's not too much of a spoiler because there are several girls who provide the music. But as soon as you start watching the show, you're going to know exactly who we're talking about. But whatever. She's there. They get her as a group member. She has one good episode. And then she's never seen again. And they even make a little call out to that at the end of season 2. Like, you weren't even here the whole show. Why are you here now? Like, that's what I mean by the fourth wall breaking.
Yep.
And it's kind of a shame because I thought that she would have been an interesting character.
But she wasn't.
Like, the few times she was on screen, I found her mildly entertaining.
Yeah. I guess.
I didn't have a much, like, it's one of those things where when somebody argues who's best girl, I'll just be like, why? She wasn't even there. Unless that's what rocks your socks.
You want a woman that can appear and disappear simultaneously.
You want a woman who can be there and give you that initial oomph you need, but then just be gone for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you're into.
Yeah.
If you're a one and done kind of guy.
Whoa. Oh my.
No. But, yeah, I don't know. There's just so many... And it's not just her. Like, her entire group gets shafted.
Yep. Her band.
Another character that I really liked was the childhood friend of his that I can't remember the name of.
Izumi
she was
Hashima.
Izumi. Yeah, I loved her a lot too. Didn't get to see much of her either.
Nah. Yeah. I mean, with her...
I think they're setting her up to be more important if there's a season 3, so I hope there's a season 3.
Yeah. Whereas, like, the other supporting cast just kind of shows up when the moment arises. Iori, the lead for Rouge on Rouge, will show up every now and again. And
I didn't really get his tick either.
No, I didn't realize if he was, like, antagonistic or he was like, yo, friendly competition, you're my eternal rival. And I'm like, okay. And apparently... And this isn't really much of a spoiler, but apparently Aki and him were friends at one point, but aren't friends now? I don't know. They didn't say anything, so...
It's just, they explain it, but I don't think they explain it well enough, and I don't think they explore it well enough, and the back and forth between them confuses me quite a bit, simply because it's like, I hate this guy one minute, and it's like, I'm gonna ask this guy for a major favor the next, and it's like, well, why do you trust him? I don't... Anyway, we're getting dangerously close to spoiler territory, so I'm gonna hold us off there. But...
Cass! I want to know about that art. That production quality. A1 picture quality.
It was gorgeous.
It's A+ quality. It very much so is. Animated very fluidly. The girls, all the character designs and whatnot is too good, you know? But then,
too good, too powerful.
Too powerful. It's over 9,000, in fact. But then what do you expect? It's A1 Pictures.
Exactly. There were a few moments of derpy animation.
I do recall you saying this.
Especially
stills.
With CG.
Oh!
Well, there were stills, but my biggest gripe was that they would use CG on the strangest of things.
The hands.
Yes. You're taking all of my oomph, but okay, yes, the hands. When they're typing on keyboards, I don't understand. Like, there are plenty of shows, including by A1 Pictures specifically, who have had people typing on keyboards, and in this show, they are blatant CG hands. It's... Oh, shoot, I shook my mic. But yeah, they're blatant blatant CG hands, and it's like, why is this a thing? And especially because there are way more complicated scenes that they fully fluidly animate throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why the hands? Like, that is the one gripe I had with the animation overall. It was just
the hands, because their hands are too powerful to animate, so they need to save the budget for the key visual scenes.
It wasn't even naturally moving hands.
I don't know, man.
It was so creepy.
I don't know.
I loved how the eyes were animated in the show.
Oh yeah, they stand out. Utaha's are red, and I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Well, there's lots of red-eyed characters in anime.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. I have to look up this later.
I mean, red is a pretty natural eye color. Typically, it's used for, like, evil people.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But typically, if they have red hair, they'll have red eyes.
Yeah.
Like Shakugan no Shana.
Or Naruto and Sasuke with the Sharingan. No, that doesn't count.
I don't think that counts. We're talking about, like, natural
I
red-eyed
know.
characters. But there's the girl from Dead Man Wonderland, Shiro. She has red eyes.
Oh, yeah, she does.
I'm just trying to think of them all off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure there are more.
You probably. Music. Do you...
Fruits Basket, Kyo had red eyes.
Oh, did he?
He did?
Huh.
They're like a darker red.
Okay.
But they're still... Yeah, there's lots of characters with red eyes.
Yeah. Cass...
It's not the most common eye color, but...
Yeah. Cass, music, outside of the opening for season 2, which trumps season 1, I thought the music in the show was... Maybe this goes back to, I believe, a previous conversation we all had, but maybe we need to start paying attention to music, because I think the music in this show is serviceable.
Soul from Soul Eater had red eyes.
He did!
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still on this red eyes thing.
No, it's okay.
No. The music in the show is great, and I think that they really, I think it's also because it became part of the plot, and that's what I love, is when music becomes part of the plot. One of the characters that we mentioned got shafted later on. She is in a band, and they play almost kind of like anime-ish sounding music. It's just got kind of that tune to it, and that's something that Aki really picks up on, or Tomoya picks up on, and he wants it in his game, because he's making a visual novel. And there are moments where the character who sings and does all the music will, hum tunes that sound very similar to previous anime. And I thought that was really cool. And it becomes a really intricate part of the plot. And I don't know, when there's upsurges in music and in dramatic moments, it really hit home. And I loved the opening and ending songs for both seasons. Especially season 2.
Yeah, that's what I was saying a bit ago. Season 2's opening was far better than season 1.
Yeah, but no, I agree with you. It's very serviceable, if not a little above serviceable. Because serviceable, I think of as,
just run of the mill.
This fits the show and it's good. Whereas I think that this one's a little tick above. I'm actually really impressed with a lot of stuff in this show that I didn't expect to be as good as it was. Like I don't even listen to soundtracks, and I download the soundtrack for this show.
Oh, did you now? Interesting.
No, I didn't. I said I would.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So we covered the plot. We covered the characters. We covered dat, production, visual, and auditory. Cass, do you have any final thoughts, or shall we move into ratings?
Well, I mean, as somebody who wanted me specifically, I suppose, to watch this show, do you feel like there was any down points? Because I know we're playing up to a lot of the strengths of this show, but did you ever feel
any down points in the show?
Like, for example, to me, I don't like that the show season 2 didn't really have an ending. I'm hoping that they're keeping it open for season 3, because I'd watch season 3.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it kind of, without going too much into it, it doesn't really have an ending. It just kind of says, like, we're going on to, like, the next milestone, essentially.
Like, I think the best way to put it is, like, they throw a curveball in, like, episode, I think it's 10 or something.
Yes.
Like, they throw a massive curveball that, like, I didn't see coming. And I was like, whoa, how the fuck are you gonna wrap this up in 2 episodes? Or 1 episode?
Yeah.
Because I think season 2 was only 11 episodes, I can't remember.
Yes, it is 11 episodes.
And it's just like, how are you going to wrap what?
But
and then I realized they don't. They give you enough that it seems like they've come to a conclusion on where they're going to head with this curveball.
Yes.
But then it's just like, but now I need more. And I don't know if that's them, one, setting up for a season 3, in which case I would be very happy. Or 2, they're doing the thing that I absolutely fucking hate, where they land and end on a very big change in a story and then say, go buy the light novel.
Are they even available in the US?
In the US, no, you gotta remember this airs in Japan.
Yeah.
Where people can buy the light novels. The light novels, I don't know if you can buy them here or not. I know you can get access to the manga on Bookwalker.
Interesting.
I don't know how closely the manga... I haven't read the manga.
Right.
But, I mean, I went to go look up the light novels because I've been sold, and I would totally buy the light novels. I bought the light novels for ReZero.
Mm-hmm.
First couple, and I need to get through those, and I'll probably buy more. But I would buy the light novels for How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. I totally would. But I don't know if I have a way to right now.
Yeah. If I recall correctly, I think even season 1 kind of ended with, like, give us more, please.
Yeah, but the thing is like, with season 1, I felt like it ended in a way that it's like, okay, now we have all the characters. Where do we go from here?
Okay, yeah,
and,
I get you.
While that is kind of like, oh, you can go and watch the next season, or you can go buy the light novels, it's not as impacting as the end of season 2.
Right.
Where there's like a massive shift.
Yeah.
Which I suppose we can talk about in the spoiler section. Stay
Yeah.
tuned. But yeah, that was one thing that really kind of bothered me about this.
I was gonna say, that'd be the only, like, gripe or, like, nitpicky point where I was just like, man, I want more. But honestly, the season as a whole, 11 episodes, which honestly is kind of like an odd episode count. 12 if you count episode 0, but I mean, there really wasn't any down points for the season in terms of, like, pacing or writing, or, like, there wasn't really anything that stuck out that was kind of like, gross, why am I watching this?
Oh, no, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
Something doesn't have to be gross or disgusting or an awful show to have problems.
Yeah. It's just the way they ended it kind of was like, you probably had more source material. You could have probably found a way to shuffle the board and set everything back up before ending it, besides shuffling the board and giving implications that you're going to set the board back up.
Yeah. And I mean, that's another problem with animating or having an anime for an ongoing light novel, because at the time of the recording of this podcast, there's still one more volume that needs to come out.
Yeah.
Same problem happened with ReZero, and I think ReZero is still ongoing.
Should be, yeah.
ReZero, I had the same problem. Like, ReZero was beautifully animated. Excuse me, they're two different kinds of stories.
Of
Don't
course.
get me wrong. Like, I'm only making this comparison because they're both light novel adaptations.
Yep.
But ReZero, I also, like, there was a point where I'm like, why am I watching this show? What is this show about? I have no clue. And I feel like you get to find that out eventually in the light novels. I'll let you know if you do, because I'm very determined to read all the light novels. But I felt the same thing could be applied here, where it's like, well, where are you going with this? Where is this story going to go? And I felt a little sad that, because I loved the curveball they threw at the latter half of the season, because I think that made this show go from something to me that was fun and that I liked a lot to, like, holy shit, this got real good.
Yes.
But then you leave me there.
You're leaving us hanging, Saekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend.
It's like you kicked me out of an airplane and didn't tell the viewers whether I lived.
Damn.
Did I have a parachute? Will I land safely?
Find out.
Does the parachute turn into a refrigerator?
Find out next season if we get greenlit for season 3, dog. Brr, 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 brr.
We'll have to keep an eye out for it.
Yep.
But, I mean, hey, if a season 3 comes out, I think we'll both want to review it for the podcast, assuming it does happen.
Yeah.
The only other real gripe I had, I already mentioned earlier, which was with the fact that some of the characters got really shafted and that some of their character motivations were iffy at best. And that's unfortunate in a show that had mostly good characters with very clear motivations, and then you just have these other characters. It's like, why? Did you need this? And maybe that's also cleared up in the light novel. I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope that their motivations are changed and or fleshed out a little bit.
Or at least that the characters that we do know motivations for get a little bit more screen time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ratings!
I've said my piece now. I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, I basically agree with you. I mean, really, it just left me wanting more, and I found it kind of funny that some characters don't get much screen time as the others, which, honestly, without...
is a bummer.
Yeah, which is a bummer, and without saying too much, I find it funny that one player who contributes shows up and magically poofs up all of the assets for this project and then disappears again, while the rest of them are just like, yeah, this is an ongoing process. We gotta refine this and tool this up for milestones and deadlines, and we gotta get this out, guys.
You might have to elaborate that for me in the spoiler room.
I will.
I actually have no idea what you're referring to. But, okay, so more on that when we get to the spoiler room. But ratings, I suppose?
Ratings!
You want me to go first, or you?
You can go first if you wish.
Alright, cool.
Are we rating season 1 and 2? Or?
We can just rate, I guess, at this point as a total package.
The combo pack.
But I believe that for the most part we're going to be giving a final rating overall for season 2. But season 1 played a lot into it, so you can interpret it however you'd like. However, I will say that Saekano is a show that I went into with little to no expectations, and maybe that was the best way I could have gone into it, to be honest. I think that overhypeness tends to kill a show before you even get a chance to hit the play button.
Yep.
And I've seen that happen a lot recently, especially with things like Your Name and other super overhyped things that may actually have more merit than you think, but because it was so overhyped, it's ruined for you.
Yeah.
So I'm actually happy that I went into Saekano with little to no expectations.
I honestly, when I gave this pass it and you signed on, I was like, I hope she likes it because it is kind of harem-y. So...
Well, that's just, yeah, and that's the thing, like, and that's what I think is so great about our podcast, and what I really, really, really try and push from all of our hosts is that we all have different things that we like.
Yeah.
And we all have things that sometimes one person can tolerate more than the other, or maybe one person can see past the garbage to see something beautiful. And in some cases, sometimes garbage is garbage and they like it anyway. And that's what's great about this cast of people that we have here. Me, you, John, and Cammie, is we all have different things that we have strengths in, and we all have different things that we like and love. And I went into this as somebody who's not a very big fan of harems, but I went in with an open mind, which is what a lot of us will do. We'll go into a show that we wouldn't normally like. Like, I watched Keijo, and that is such an anti-Cassie show. That is the epitome of an anti-Cassie show. And I enjoyed it, too. So, that being said, I'm roundabouting. Saekano is a show I went into with little to no expectations and was pleasantly surprised. I think that the A1 Pictures shine definitely helped draw me in to begin with. I think that's actually one of the reasons why I signed up, was because I said, hey, if there's going to be tits in my face, at least I know they're going to be prettily animated. And sure enough, there were some very pretty titties. But they weren't the main focus of the show, and I really appreciated that.
Oh, yeah, right.
The main character is not a bumbling idiot who walks into the hot springs. He is somebody who's very dedicated to his craft, and... excuse me, for once you have all these girls falling over him, and he doesn't give a shit. He wants to achieve his dream.
Yeah.
It does cause for, some very generic moments of hilarity, but with a very special twist, because he's really not into it.
Refreshing.
Which is refreshing in and of itself, but that's not something that they hammer too much. It's well done. The fan service and harem-y moments are kept to a minimum to really, really just become an extra spice to this really, really, really well-told story that you have to get to season 2 to really see. And that's the only problem I have. If I were to rate season 1, for example, I would probably give it a like it, because there was nothing about season 1 other than the fact that some of the characters were good, and I thought that the premise of the story was interesting, that could make me really want to watch more, but I did anyway. And I got to season 2, and I loved it. It was a really good show. The problem is you got to get through season 1 first.
Yep.
And while season 1 is not bad, it's just almost boring in comparison to season 2.
Like the show. How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend.
How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. But I'm not to say season 1 is bad or it is boring. It's just in comparison, there's just so much more to digest and enjoy about season 2. That I look back at my enjoyment of both, and season 2 was definitely the better adaptation, which doesn't happen a lot. Typically, you'll like a season 1 way more than you will like a season 2.
Mm-hmm. Same with movies.
Yeah, like, the sequels are almost always not as good.
Yep.
But in this case, I feel like it's the exact opposite. Season 1 was just the foundation. And the word foundation isn't even really appealing in and of itself. It just is what it is. It's laying the foundation for what you're going to get in season 2. And it's enjoyable. Like, it's not bad. It's just there. And then season 2 is just amazing and great. And I really enjoyed it, and I would rewatch this show.
Nice.
So I'm going to give it a love it
nice.
and move on to let Craig talk about it, because he's the one who passed the show to begin with.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Saekano! How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend as a whole. I would say I love this show. Why is that exactly? Much to what Cass said, Season 1 lays the foundation. It sets up that chessboard. You get all your players in a row, and you have your crack team. They argue and banter, but you know what? You kind of accept it. They have some little bits of character growth in the Season 1. I love the character interactions, and I find it the meta commentary on the harem genre, to begin with, very fascinating. It grabbed me, and also to make a game it's a meta harem about making games. This is how Pete introduced it to me. I was like, I'm in, and then I watched all of it. Season 2 raises them stakes. You get a bigger. Season 1 is the appetizer. Season 2 is the full course meal. You get a steak and you get a potato on the side, that sort of stuff. You get more characters introduced. You get more, like I said, stakes. It introduces more the lives of these creators, illustrators, novelists, directors, like people that are introduced, musicians, what have you. So, all in all, I love this show. I highly recommend all of you all check it out. It's a damn good time. Good on you, A1 Pictures. You and your CG hands, you do a good job. Maybe in Season 3, if you're greenlit, you can animate those hands. It's all good.
Yeah, can you please stop with the CG hands?
You see,
Please.
you can't see it, ladies and gentlemen at home, but I'm like, when I say CG hands, I make motions of I'm typing in weird ways. Ooh.
I thought you'd be making the gropey hands.
No, I can't do gropey. Well, now I'm doing gropey hands, but I'm typing now.
Typing with gropey hands.
Yep.
But yeah. So I guess we can move on to a very short spoiler room now.
Let's go to the spoiler room.
I don't feel like we're going to have a whole lot to talk about, but we'll have enough to fill up a little bit of time. So if you agreed with what we said about this show, if you didn't agree, let us know. Send us your thoughts at anniechatmail@gmail.com, or go ahead and drop us a tweet at Twitter. We're trying to get better at keeping up with our Twitter as it is. So give us a reason to, damn it. But otherwise, we're going to move into a spoiler room. So if you don't want to be spoiled on Saekano, How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, be gone.
Cass, how's the spoiler room? We got these cushions. What else can we decorate this room with at this point?
Oh no, we can get some like dakimakuras or something.
What would you have for your dakimakura in the spoiler room?
I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Saekano spoilers.
What?
People don't need to get to know me that well.
Fair.
But I think that like the main spoiler that I feel we need to discuss is the end of season 2, where Ariri really gets recruited by this gigantic company that's making basically a Final Fantasy-esque game. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Yep. It's a publishing software company, so...
And essentially, if Ariri goes, Utaha's going, so suddenly, I think it's actually really cool that the story that he wanted to make all along, Tomoya, he finally gets the urge to make what he wants to make, and then most of his staff is gone.
Yep.
And that's interesting to me.
So it's like, he makes his first game, he makes Cherry Blossom, if I recall correctly, is just how to meet the perfect girl, and then...
Well, it's not even just how to meet the perfect girl, it's an epic story.
Yeah.
It has time travel elements, incest elements, murderous intent, trying to save the... It's a super over-the-top game.
Oh, yeah.
Is what they initially make. And that's just the thing, like, he wants to make a very basic game, a basic visual novel, a basic dating sim.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want the over-the-top, right? He doesn't want the epic story, the epic romance story, the epic adventure. He wants the basics.
The down-to-earth, essentially. And that's why...
He finally wants to make it, and he lost most of his staff.
And he makes it How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. And that's like, oh god, that's even better onto itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you find out where the title comes from. It's kind of like how when you watch Hibike Euphonium, you find out where the title Hibike Euphonium actually comes from in the last episode of season 2.
I had no idea on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil what it is or whatever, because this isn't a spoiler room for Hibike Euphonium.
Fair.
I won't consider that a huge spoiler, but there is a meaning to the name.
Yeah.
And anime does this all the time. I wouldn't necessarily call it meta, because the title is what it is.
Okay.
The fact that Harry Potter
Referential.
finds the Sorcerer's Stone at the end of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I wouldn't call meta.
Yeah. Gotcha. Besides that, I'm glad that Utaha and Eriri are going on to do bigger and better things. I just wish that, like I used the metaphor earlier, to set that chessboard back up into place before, and him start on the project, his next project, with his new crew, if he's getting a new crew. It's sort of implied Izumi becomes the new illustrator. I want to say Iori probably gets involved.
Maybe.
But hard telling.
We won't know.
And we can also say Michiru Hyodo is the one that hardly is in any of it. And that's my problem. How does she produce music in a single fan service episode and then disappears for the entirety of the season? Slow claps. Slow claps.
I wanted more out of Michiru and then didn't get anything.
Well, your introduction to her is, I fucking hate your nerd shit, Aki. You need to cut this shit out. And I'm like, wow, you're kind of a bitch. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should have had more of her to make her actually be like, you know what, you're a nerd, but it's okay to be a nerd because whatever.
Either that or just like more like, I feel like all the other ones we got to see intricate moments of how they contributed to the game. For example, when Eriri had to do the final
push,
the final illustrations for the game, and they had to be gorgeous, and she had to like go and shut herself out or shut herself up in like a room in a family villa just to like get away from it all, and then she like oil painted all of it.
Gorgeous.
Like that was it was amazing. And then like you have one of the moments I loved the most about Utaha was when Tomoya walked up to her eventually after they coded her script into the game and said, "This is terrible. Redo it."
Yep.
And she had to, as a creator, really embrace like, yes, I do need to do that. She handles it very maturely, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you do see that it breaks her heart a little, and I loved that. But we don't have any of that with Michiru. It's just, I guess she was just perfect from the get-go. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
they listen to the songs and they're like, this is the main theme song of the girl. This is it. And they're like, yeah, I got this. And they're like, yay, I guess. No struggle with this woman. She's golden. Her and Icy Tail do those anime covers.
Like, the whole issue with her to begin with was just getting her in the crew. Once you got her in the crew, it's like she was there and there was no conflict. There was nothing she had to do to grow as a character like the others did.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of growth of characters, I liked how Megumi, like, very slowly just became, like, a co-director,
Yeah.
associate producer.
Yep.
Like, that was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot.
Well, it also helps the fact that she was kind of like, I'm here for you. And
why she gets pissed at him later.
Yeah, and she ignores it. Like, towards the tail end of season 2, time starts skipping like crazy to a point where it's just like, yeah, we haven't talked for 4 months. Dude, you haven't talked to her for 4 months? You should go talk to her. And it's just like, I'm sorry for all these things that I did. I'm like, dude, if I would have pissed off a girl, I would have apologized like right away. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't let that shit stew.
Well, I mean, I think it also has to come to the fact that he was trying to talk to her. She was ignoring him.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, what you probably would do, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't chase a girl down if she was just like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, fair enough. You don't.
So he did try to go and immediately apologize. She wouldn't let him.
Well, if anything, I'm glad that she had growth in her role as associate producer, executive producer, or assistant director, probably the third one there. But yeah, that's really the only things I have that are quote-unquote spoilery.
There's only one other spoiler that I wanted to discuss.
What's that?
And that is that this show, and the reason why it bumped, because originally I was probably going to give this show a high like it. The thing that boosted it to a love it was a scene between Utaha and Edity, and I think it's episode 10 or 11.
Yep.
And this show fucking made me cry, and I didn't expect it to, and that's amazing.
Yep.
And it's because there's this realization that originally when Edity is offered, the position at this big company that's making like this amazing game.
Yep.
She, of course, wants to turn it down because she wants to stay with Tomoya and Utaha and make games and be a part of this friend circle. But in that moment and in those episodes, you find out that Tomoya is not a good director. He doesn't push his creators. And therefore, that's why they aren't able to sometimes make, or especially in Edity's case,
yep.
Now that she's already become his quote-unquote number one, after she makes everything for Cherry Blossom or whatever the name of their first game was, she can't push herself anymore because Tomoya has no expectations for her.
Yep, she hits a slump.
She hits a huge slump, and it's not because he did anything wrong. It's just that he never gives them a huge deadline for the next game. He doesn't have. He's almost just begging or groveling for just any kind of time or commitment from them as they grow older. Utaha graduates from high school, and Edity is in her slump. And Edity finally realizes that the woman, I can't remember what her name is, but from this big company, who basically insults her and yells at her and basically tells her that she sucks as an artist because she sucks as an artist. It has nothing to do with her being in a slump. Motivates her to make some of the most gorgeous art she's ever made. And she realizes in that moment that if she stays with Tomoya, she's not going to be able to become the great artist that she wants to be.
Yep.
And it kills her. Like, it breaks her apart. And she goes from being so proud of herself for making something so beautiful to just absolute heartbreak because she can't stay where she wants to.
Yep.
And also, another thing that I loved about season 2, which is another spoiler, is Utaha secretly really, really likes Edity.
Yep.
She admires her. And that's one of the things that I hated about her in season 1. I told Craig, I was like, I hate this bitch. She's so mean for no reason. And she's over-sexual. She's so mean to Edity to the point where she's almost borderline bullying her. I don't like her. And then we get to season 2, and you actually find out why, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, they're both fans of each other, and yeah, when you were watching it, you were talking to me about, like, how Utaha was bitching. I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see it. I took it at face value, but season 2 gives reasons as to why. And the ending of season 2 with Utaha, she essentially is pissed at the fact that she's, if I recall correctly, her words were, like, she's the third wheel, essentially, where she's like, I'm just tagging along with you, essentially. Is that right?
Well, yeah, because basically what the situation was this big company approached Edity and Utaha.
Yeah.
But they want Edity more than they want Utaha.
Yep.
So if Edity turns down the offer to be in this game, or to work with these people in this game, then they're not going to take Utaha, even though Utaha is actually a professional. She's a professional light novelist and is active in the industry, and arguably at that point in the story, and this is also something I found fascinating, was technically more successful than Edity was, but the company wants Edity and her art. So there's this moment where Edity asks, "Are you mad?" And Utaha's like, fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like, why do they want you over me? I'm the professional. And I'm now, at this point, a consolation prize. Like, of course I'm pissed.
Yep.
And I loved that. And I also love the fact that even though she is pissed, she really wants Edity to grow. Because arguably, I think she may even have it in for... I mean, this is just me, I don't know. This is just total just thought. But I think she actually has a minor inferiority complex in regards to Edity.
It's possible.
Because when Edity makes the comment about how she really wants to work with Utaha, like, Utaha just, like, starts crying. And I couldn't. That whole episode just fucked me up. Yep. I couldn't even.
Yep. I think they both...
I just couldn't.
I think they both have inferiority complexes to each other. If that kind of makes sense.
Absolutely. But I feel like Utaha's is almost even, like...
More so.
And I think it's more complicated. Because Edity, I feel like her inferiority complex also comes from the fact that Utaha is so successful.
Yeah. She's
to
already
me, it's
pro.
a little bit more... Yeah, exactly. I think there's an intricate, like... I think it's more intricate, the fact that Utaha feels inferior when she's already the professional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's technically already leagues ahead of her in terms of the job market, at least.
Mm-hmm.
She has more...
leg up.
Yeah, she has more of a leg up. Now, not to say that Edity isn't known. She's known in her doujin circles, and she's pretty popular at Comic-Con as well.
Yep.
But...
she draws the lewds.
She does. She draws the loot, which is also another reason why I really like her. She's great. But yeah, it's so deep, guys. The show is way deeper than it deserves to be.
Okay, I'm glad that I'm glad that it sold you, and hopefully we don't have to wait 2-3 years for season 3. But
we'll see.
Yep.
How much time was there between season 1 and 2? I can't remember.
Season 1 aired winter of 2015. Season 2 aired spring of 2017.
That's not too bad.
Nah.
Could be worse. Could be like Attack on Titan.
Yeah, there's that. At least we're getting season 3 of that next year, so hey. Okay. You have anything else?
I don't have anything else to say, do you?
Nah, pretty much covered the bases.
Alright, well, that has been Annie Chatbox, episode 32. Thank you for joining us. And again, if you're in one of the crazy places right now that's getting pelted with rain or floods or earthquakes or fire, please be safe and know that we have you in our minds and hearts, and we're going to find as many possible ways to donate to you guys as possible and put them in the description. All right, this is us signing off. Oyasumi.
Peace out, y'all.